Welcome to the Ed Benton Show. I'm Ed Benton, your host. Warning, the following is a work of fiction and intended to be satirical in nature. We can only hope that it is not an accurate prediction of future events. 2024, America's Final Days by Ed Benton. Day 2, Friday, July 5th, 2024, the Mac Union in Mexico. My wife and I arrive in Guadalajara, Mexico. Her family greets us at the airport, welcoming us with characteristically warm Mexican hugs and kisses. Fortunately for me, they do consider me to be one of those good gringos. Her father, a retired banker, insists on showing me a sample of the new Mac Union currency that was specifically designed for Mexico. He shows me a 20 Amero note with a Mayan calendar and an Aztec god featured on the back, and the universal Mac Union symbology on the front. When I look at the Mayan calendar, I immediately think of the Mayans' frightening forecast. Contrary to the Mayan prediction, the world was not annihilated in 2012. Instead, President Obama was re-elected, which to most Tea Partiers must have felt like the end of the world. During the drive to my father-in-law's house, he asserts that the new Mac Union is simply the end result of a plot by the American government to annex Mexico without firing a shot. I disagree, reassuring him that the Mac Union is actually good for Mexico, as it will provide Mexico with a much more stable currency and make it possible for Mexicans to find employment not only in Mexico, but in America or Canada. This will relieve Mexico of the terrible burden of having to create jobs for all Mexicans. That burden will be lifted by the free movement of Mexicans to the north. He responds that, quote, "This is nothing but a veiled move to legalize access to the cheap labor offered by millions of poor Mexicans and a few poor Canadians," unquote. Not true, I tell him. For all Mexican and Canadian workers in America will be legal and paid the same minimum or higher wages paid to Americans. My father-in-law then lowers his voice to almost a whisper and asks, "But won't these Mexicans and Americans be stealing jobs from red-blooded Americans?" I explained to him that the money the Mexican and Canadian workers send back to their families will greatly boost disposable income back in their homelands. And the end result will be a huge demand for tariff-free American exports, creating millions of jobs for Americans and their Mexican and Canadian compatriots. I remind him that essentially the same thing happened in the history of the European Union. The increased trade among the EU members enabled the less developed member economies to experience rapid growth, and the same good fortune will be realized by Mexico and even Canada to a lesser degree. End of day 2.